In the winter of 2006, movie theaters didn't just screen a film, they unleashed a visual shockwave. When Zack Snyder brought Frank Miller's graphic novel to life, he bypassed traditional cinematography entirely. Instead, he treated the screen like a comic book page dipped in an apocalyptic bath of high contrast shadows and scorched earth. This was painting with blood and gold. By shooting almost entirely on a digital soundstage wrapped in blue screens, Snyder and his team discarded the muddy, naturalistic look of historical epics. They crushed the blacks, boosted the golden hour warmth to scorching levels, and drenched the frame in crimson digital blood. It looked fake, and that was entirely the point. It was hyper-reality, an aesthetic choice that taught Hollywood that digital backlots didn't have to mimic reality, they could create an entirely new stylized dimension. Critics at the time loved to point out historical inaccuracies. They complained that Spartans didn't fight half naked, that the Persian army wasn't a horde of subhuman orcs, and that Xerxes looked less like an ancient monarch and more like a towering, pierced deity from a heavy metal album cover. They completely missed the point. 300 is monsters, mutants, and mad kings because it isn't a documentary. It's a war myth. The entire narrative is framed through the voice of Daedalus, a Spartan storyteller wrapping a pep talk around his surviving comrades before the Battle of Plataea. Of course, the Spartans were flawless, chiseled heroes, and of course, the Persians are grotesque monsters. It's propaganda told by a soldier who needs to inspire an army to face impossible odds. By leaning into fantasy, Snyder freed historical cinema from the shackles of textbook accuracy, turning a Greek myth into a modern operatic fable. Long before TikTok algorithms and fast paced meme formats, 300 accidentally wrote the instruction manual for viral internet culture. When King Leonidas kicked the Persian messenger down a bottomless abyss, Gerard Butler roared a line that transcended the screen and hijacked the early internet. YouTube pops, flash animations, endless remix videos, and endless real-world parodies cemented the moment into global consciousness. 300 proved that a movie didn't just need good box office numbers, it needed a cultural soundbite so potent that people would quote it for decades without even remembering where it came from. In the wake of 300's massive box office dominance, Hollywood panicked, in a good way. Every studio wanted a piece of the pie, sparking the rise, fall, and absence of the Snyder-esque action film. For a brief window in the late 2000s and early 2010s, you couldn't watch a trailer without seeing ramp up slow motion, digital fog, blood spurts frozen in midair, and brooding muscular men screaming about glory. Movies like Immortals and Pompeii chased that high. But the formula burned out quickly when imitators forgot that style needs substance to back it up. Today, that hyper-stylized testosterone-filled subgenre has all but vanished from the mainstream, replaced by interconnected cinematic universes and CGI-heavy franchises that rarely take the bold visual risks that Snyder did. So how do we look at the film today? Is 300 a masterpiece or a misunderstood B-movie? Stripped of its original 2006 cultural panic and political commentary, 300 stands up remarkably well as a piece of pure, unadulterated cinematic bravado. It isn't a subtle film, nor does it pretend to be. It is a loud, gorgeous, unapologetic adrenaline rush. Whether you view it as a high art triumph of digital filmmaking or an over the top B movie budget epic blown up to IMAX proportions, one thing is certain: cinema hasn't seen anything quite like it since.